Hi everyone. So the purpose of this video is to kind of get you going on options with just line. That is something that I noticed a lot of people had um, need to understand, and so this video is only focused on that. I'm going to start doing videos where I am working through my evaluation of how to draw something, and so I will probably do a quick one on BB-8 this week, and then next week I will draw something else. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about options. And so to start that, I just wanted, and this is going to be a quick video, so it's not going to be the long ones we had last week. I just wanted to talk a little bit about options. And so I'm going to throw a couple of lines up here. And there are so many really great options. Number one, just doing a light stroke. And to be honest, if I have a stroke on something, and it's just a line, it's not a drawing, I usually use 0.5. But keep in mind there are all of these options underneath here. So this is a 20-point stroke, which is very, very heavy. We'll drop that down to a 3-point stroke. And then right next to this, you're going to see uniform. And so that's what I wanted you guys to check out today, is that this thin, thick option, and keep in mind how heavy you set that kind of emphasizes that. So if I were to do a circle, oops, let's do a circle, not a square. What something like that does, and I'm going to make this a 5-point stroke so we see it very clearly. I go to uniform, and you can see that this goes thick, thin, thick. And you can see that it really kind of gives us an interesting, perspective. It can kind of sometimes give the impression of shadow. So keep in mind, I'm actually going to make all of these really thick right now, just so we can see the differences. Keep these in mind. I actually use them a lot. And what they do is, if this is thin and this is thick, you'll see that transition. So let's choose that thin to thick. Oh, that's what we had actually. So I actually use these options a lot while I'm drawing, but I wanted to make you aware of like a whole nother option. If I go to window, and I know you can't see window, but window down to brushes, there are gazillion brushes embedded in here, and so I wanted to make you aware of these. I'm going to bring these over. So obviously these are kind of more brushes, and we can see what each one of those does. And I'm going to make all of them uniform and 3 points so we can go through these. Basic 3-point. All right, now we've got back to, so underneath this drop down palette, if we open the brush library, you're going to see tons of things. So we're going to do artistic, we're going to do ink, and then we're going to do bristle brush library, and all of those will come up. You can see that these are 2 over the top. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to just do that. You can see that it gives me a little soft edge. I'm going to go into here, and you can see that it gives me this rough edge. This is a splattered kind of look. And I'm going to continue to open some of these up because I really want you, oh, and I have actually some that I have purchased, so you can also purchase them. You can also create them, and if I have time, maybe I'll cover creating them. But you can see if I did something like this, what it would do for me. So those are options. The other thing, I know this is a little bit worrisome, is that something with this much activity, if I go to path and I outline that stroke, then it's no longer that shape and I can scale it without having worried about it like getting smaller or too large based on the stroke weight. So there's always that. Let's just go and look at trying to find something. Border lines. Let's see what those. Oh, those are kind of cheesy. All right. So the last thing I want to do is, like, if you are interested in like the idea of crosshatch, then make yourself a series of lines. Because I saw some in there that seemed like they had the potential. So I'm going to take all of these down to 0.5, and then I'm going to hold down Option and drag, and I'm going to rotate, and then I can put that over the top of those, and so I get this sense of crosshatch. But then I can come in, like, and the areas that aren't, you know, where they need to be, I can go ahead and delete those. And then I could come in and give myself my outline stroke to cover my edges. Oops. I grabbed on something. I'm gonna get this a little bit further away. And no stroke. Oh, I did want stroke, but I wanted to make that stroke kind of heavy. So I'll give myself a 2-point, and then I'm going to do my curve right here, and then I'll be able to draw it into place so that I'm covering that edge, and then I can come in and like retrofit it, because as I was getting too close to those lines, what was happening is it was trying to click on a line. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of drew outside of that. So those are quite a few options for you to explore just right at the start of kind of getting started. Lots of you are approaching this in kind of a more hand-drawn way. One of the things that I did want to point out is buying brushes for Illustrator. So if I do a search for buying brushes for Illustrator, you're going to see all kinds of options. And so keep in mind, and buying vector, let's vector brush vector. We should put that in front. Brushes vector. So it will give you the option of buying some of these brushes that I've mentioned to you before. I have bought brushes in the past for very specific. I wouldn't encourage you to do that, even though these are super cheap. I would learn to draw very well, and then maybe look at doing some of this. There's so much here that you still have yet to explore. All right, thanks.